So lack, reconciliation, inner reconciliation, aka letting go and release. And I put frequency shift on here as I thought about like the things, the way that I want this to go and the direction that I would like this to go. Because in order for us to shift from lack into reconciliation, because truly the only thing that stands in the way of moving out of survival is inner reconciliation. But the way for us to shift is to embody a new frequency. Now, I'm putting that in a bubble, in a bucket. There are so many different things that entails, because everyone's experience is nuanced. Everyone has different life experiences. Everyone has different past life experiences, ancestry, all of that. And what I found from my own experience is that so much of the lack and the scarcity in my experience was perpetuated through my lineage. And of course, perpetuated through things that happened before I decided to come here and incarnate as Kiwanis. So, going from lack, we're going to start with lack to inner reconciliation. What that might look like. I say that that's what we're going to talk about, but y'all know I'm going to talk about whatever comes out of my mouth. So, I'm putting the intention out there. Y'all know I love it when you interact. Please distract me so that we can go in the way that needs to be gone. Because otherwise, I don't know where to go. If y'all don't distract me, I don't know where to go. So feel free to distract me today. It'll give me some work with staying focused. All right. So first, let's just talk a little bit about lack. I have not met, or I'll say I have not encountered what I consider this the ultimate surrender. A frequency shift? Absolutely. Shifting from, thank you, you gave me a good place to start. Shifting from lack and reconciling internally, absolutely, is the ultimate surrender. When you, I'm using the word reconciliation because I found that saying letting go and saying forgiveness, I've been talking about this for 2 years and y'all still ain't got it. So those two words aren't working. We're not going to use those words today. We're going to say inner reconciliation, because what actually needs to happen in order for you to shift frequency is that the lower frequencies, lack, scarcity, and everything that has perpetuated those frequencies. This is why I say it's so nuanced, because something that might be perpetuating lack in one person's experience could be something that happened in childhood where they were compared to another person, where they were consistently compared. Comparison, when the person is in a comparison mindset, they're looking at something else and saying, I don't have that. I am not that. And then that turns into I am not enough. And then that turns into there is not enough. I am not enough shifts into there is not enough. So anytime I'm working with someone through scarcity, 9 out of 10 people that I work with, finances always come up because everybody wants to be financially abundant. But something to understand is money is energy, and money is like money is like a secondary, or what is third? Tertiary? Is that the word? Tertiary? I don't know. Let me think about Tetris, but I know that ain't that. But money is like a secondary and a tertiary. It's not a word, but it's a word today. Energy, when it comes to manifestation and what we're calling forth, right? So when they have money problems, we need to look at the energies of the root chakra. So we need to look at your foundations, and then we also tertiary. Thank you, tertiary. Yeah, thank you. We need to look at the energy of your root, and we also need to look at your relationships in order to understand exactly why it is that your money is funny. Everything that has happened, childhood, everything, but I'll say the word everything, not everything, but 9 out of 10 people's scarcity mind, lack mind, perpetuated in their family of origin, their tribe of origin. Something happened in the home. It could be something simple that was said, or something happened in early childhood. This could be something that happened in school, whatever. But something happened to where you were compared to something, you were pushed to perfectionism, you became, what is the word that I'm looking for? You became accomplishment driven. And so now all of these things start to speak to you and say, or you just lived in a home where money was already funny. And so this is the energy that you came up around. So you looked around you and saw not enough. So now this energy perpetuates itself. And although this is happening in your physical environment, children see themselves first. Children are very egocentric. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. As a child, you can't help but be egocentric, but you think everything is about you. So although these things are happening in your internal and external environment, they internalize, and now that says, I am not enough. And now you grow up in this energy like this, the voice of I am not enough, it literally travels through your bottom 3 chakras. So it starts in the root, because your tribe of origin teaches you who you are in different ways. So then it goes up and says, now your relationships start to teach you who you are. Your relationship with your parents, your relationships with your siblings, your relationships with anyone around you, and then your relationship with things. The sacral chakra is not just about relationship with people, it's relationship with everything. And as this energy is traveling up, this question of, am I enough? Am I enough? Am I enough? Continues to go up, and now it goes up into the solar plexus. And so as you're developing as a child, when you get into that solar plexus, so that's that teen, that's your teen state, that's early 20s and things of that nature. That's when you're really smelling yourself. But that question of, am I enough, still is being asked. And especially as it pertains to the solar plexus, your external environment is teaching you subtly, silently, what's the word I'm looking for? Subconsciously, and reinforcing and affirming whether you are enough or not based on what's happening in your external environment. Now, some people are fortunate enough to have had beautiful relationships with their parents, to have had environments, and even if not their parents, to have had mentors very, very young, and have had people who would speak life into them, so that they did not start to internalize their external environment. But most people that I encounter, at least, have taken the things that have happened, and now it says, I am not enough. And so now that's internal. Now when we look at lack, it starts to project outward. Now everything you see around you is not enough, and now your money is funny. Now your money is funny. But also, because I got to piggyback on that, lack mentality isn't always about money, because you can even go and get you a very high paying job, or get you a high paying whatever, and there will still be something inside of you that's questioning, something is not right about this. I don't feel grateful. I don't feel appreciative. I'm not satisfied with this. This is not enough. And now we come back into comparison. You start to look outside of you and you start to compare, because something is not enough, because there's a voice inside that says, I am not enough. So when it comes down to lacking anything in your experience, if you ever feel like you're lacking anything in your experience, this is a matter of a deep sense of not enoughness. Now we come into the necessity to shift the frequency. This is where we go into the frequency shifting aspect of it. This, the most simply put, shifting frequency from I am not enough to I am enough. 1, deeply requires you to start to mind your own business. Deeply requires you to start to mind your own life. Because if ever you are projecting so much energy outside of you to where it's like it just keeps, it's a mirror. As we know this, our external world is a mirror. So as it bounces off and you're saying, I'm not enough, you look out, it's not enough, I'm not enough, there's not enough. When all of your energy is projecting outward, all of that negative energy, rather, is projecting outward, what's taking care of home? How much of your energy and what's taking care of home and what's taking care of your actual life? So most people that I encounter that are in lack, or, and I mean, I want to call it an illusion, but everything is illusory. And, scarcity is truthfully a lot of people's actual experience. But still, it is, of course, possible to shift out of it. It's, people do it all the time. It's a thing. But, train of thought. Come on back. Come back. We're talking about the projecting. Okay, minding your own life. So, most people who are in that energy, deep in the scarcity, there's so much in your life that you could be paying attention to, catering to, sending your energy into positive things in your life, positive changes that you could be doing and could be making that you're not doing because you're so busy minding other people's business and perpetuating your own scarcity. The past year has been me working deep. Like, y'all, I was about to say balls deep, but I ain't got balls. I was knees deep, sacred portal deep in digging myself, like working through every single aspect of my life where scarcity was present. First, it started with my finances because that's the thing that everyone looks at. And I just had so many questions about why the hell? Like, what is going on? Because I don't feel like this. I wasn't identifying with the money being funny. I was like, this don't feel right. So this doesn't feel like my actual reality. When in actuality, it was my goddamn reality because I was living it. And I was so busy not being in my life and dissociating from my actual reality because abundance had already been spoken over me. I've already dreamed the abundance. I had already dreamed the prosperity. I had seen all of the things. So rather than getting into my life and looking at all of the areas of my life where I could improve, I was too busy looking at what I did not have, aka lack and scarcity mind. So someone asked about something practical that you can do. You can dig your heels in and get into your life. What areas of your life do you feel lack around? And if there's one, then I promise you there's 20. If there's one, I promise there's more than one, because it's so much more than finances. Look at your confidence. Look at, again, comparison mind. I keep feeling called to say that because relationships. Look at the relationships that you entertain. Look at the things that you allow yourself to do. Look at the people that you allow in your life. We talked about how lack is very closely tied to self-worth. They're twins. All right, they one and the same. Because if you actually knew that you were worthy, it's different than saying I deserve. And I feel like that's where a lot of people are. You say that you deserve, but just because you deserve it doesn't mean that you're going to have it. Just because you know you deserve something does not mean that you're going to have it. You receive what you know that you're worthy of. And you go and get what you know that you're worthy of. You open up your energy to what you know that you're worthy of. You stop sabotaging and pushing away what you know that you're worthy of. So a lot of people are stuck in the I deserve. I can say I deserve a whole lot of things, but have I actually shifted my attention there? Have I actually sat down, maybe thought about a plan? Maybe just thought about different ways to where I can actually do that? Have I actually got enough into my life to where I can see where I'm saying that I want that, but I'm literally doing nothing for it. I'm not sending any energy that way. And of course, this is not to say that you have to toil and work hard for all things, because I really just want to make it clear, honey, it can be easeful, not necessarily easy, but full of ease. It's not to say that the process has to be grueling, but it's truly a matter of where you are. The process is grueling for you if you're saying that you deserve Z, but your ass is still at B. You ain't learned C through Y. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of hard work. If you're saying that you deserve $1 million, but you haven't been able to be a good steward over $10, then yeah, you have a lot of work. So the process can be full of ease, but what also perpetuates scarcity and lack is not being very real with yourself about where you are and what you have to work with. How do you know what you deserve? Honey, that's up to you. That's up to you. Nobody can tell you what you deserve. I deserve the world. And that's because I say so. That's because I say so. But what I receive in my life is what I'm worthy of. And what I know I'm worthy of is what I open myself to. So no, the phrase Delulu is a Salulu is actually not wrong. Okay, so let's go there. Because this is where, you know what? This is interesting. This is where a lot of my clients are. And this is also where I am. Balance. It is very important on this journey to recognize that life will continue to show you that it's not either or, that it's not black and white, that it's not right or wrong, that it's not good or bad. Is you find a nice rhythm. You find a rhythm and you find what works for you, according to your design. Because the Lulu is the Salulu. Because like I said, if you saying that you deserve Z, but your ass is at B, it's quite delusional at that time because you ain't done C through Y. It's very delusional. But you need this level of wild imagination. You need a wild imagination in order to continue to allow yourself to be open enough, to be courageous enough to go after the things that you desire. You truly do. So that, like, when we say Delulu is a Salulu, that's what that is, because it is calling forth things that your reality is not perpetuating at the time. That's why we need balance. And that's where I said earlier in my journey, where I went wrong was leaning a little bit too much on Delulu. Because I'm like, oh, yeah. That's my life. Because I knew, like, I saw that it would be my life. But I went so far into Delulu that I was not in the reality of the work that needed to be done in my life right now in order for those things to happen. So, Delulu is a Salulu, but you also need to bring your ass home into your reality and work. Delulu, utilize your imagination, but now you come and get your hands dirty. This is the balance between the masculine and the feminine. This is how you balance out your masculine and your feminine energy in this way. The feminine energy is the imaginative aspect of this. It's the aspect where you are utilizing your right brain. I'm like, right brain? Is my right? Where you're utilizing your right brain. Yes. You're utilizing the dream space. You're utilizing your creative brain. You're utilizing your intuition. Utilizing your imagination in order to tap into the unseen and the unknown and the unrealized. But now you've got to come into those left brain aspects. You have to tap into that masculine energy of action, of doing, of the physical, of earth. This is a balance now also between the realms. You create all the shit you want up in the upper realms. You come into your upper chakras You come into your upper chakras and come into those realms to create what it is that you desire. But now it all has to travel down from the crown, third eye, throat. It has to go through everything in order for you to physically use your sacral energy to make it real. It has to travel all the way down. So this is the merging and the balancing of the energies. So I asked y'all to distract me with reading. Thank you. I don't do age timelines. I don't do that. Someone said, can you talk about getting to that point on an age timeline, for example, every 5 years? Why worry about time? That's just another, like, you can do that if you want to, because some people do set time milestones, but for what? Allow the journey to be the journey. And if you want to set, like, if you want to create a plan, like, this is my 5-year plan, this is my 10-year plan, if that is something that actually resonates with you, and that's something that you want to do, go ahead and do it. But something that I talked to one of my clients about yesterday was, what would happen if you stopped trying to heal? What would happen if you stopped trying, needing it to happen just like this, in this way? What would happen if you stopped trying to make it release and stop trying to do X, Y, Z? This isn't to say that you are not, and this again is where balance comes in. Someone asked a question about how do you practice balance. I can't tell you how to practice balance in your own life because I don't know where you are imbalanced. And also, there are certain things that y'all just need to just physically try and do. I was about to move myself forward. There are some things that you all need to learn from experience. So, okay, I'll skip over what I was saying and I will come to this. It is absolutely impossible to be perfect. And you don't want to be perfect. If you want the most wisdom out of your experience, if you want to glean the absolute most wisdom in your experience, to where at some point you no longer have to ask the question of, how do I discern? How do I know? How do I choose? If you are someone who's still asking those types of questions, and I'm not saying this in a way that's like nothing's wrong with it, I'm just letting you know, okay, because I love y'all. Just letting you know that when I hear those type of questions, I sense that you have not experienced enough yet. And the only way that you will get a true answer to that question is for you to continue to experience. So when it comes to balancing, sometimes that pendulum is going to swing. Sometimes your ass is going to be way out of balance. And you need to know what it means for you to be out of balance. My out of balance is not your out of balance. You need to know what your body feels like. What are your habits when you're out of balance? What patterns are you doing? What does misalignment look like for you? And you won't know that unless you allow yourself to be misaligned. You feel through it. And now you know, oh shit, I can't go that far down more. Now let me try and swing on back this way. And a lot of times people swing all the way back and now you're on the other end, still not balanced. But now you allow yourself to feel into what it feels like in different aspects of life when you've gone too far, when you're operating at extremes. So the only way, I'm not going to say the only way. I'm not going to say the only way because people are designed differently. I'll say the way that I'm designed to try shit out and come and tell y'all what don't work. That's my design. My human design, I am a 3-5. I am designed to try shit out and come and tell the collective what the fuck don't work. So I can tell y'all a lot about what work and what don't work because I've just let myself swing. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't like that. My body don't like that. Come back. We don't like that either. Okay, let's try. Let's try this. Ooh, 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 maybe. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Like that is how the process feels for me. So of course this is not everyone's process, but as these are my experiences, this is what I teach. That there are certain things where experience is going to be your best teacher when it comes to understanding what works for you. That is something that has to be understood. It has to work for you. It has to be in alignment for you. It has to be in according to your design. And the thing is, you are one of one. So people can give you their experiences. There are certain things that are very much so collective, right? It's like we can talk about scarcity and say that self-worth is a scarcity thing. Okay, this is definitely collective. That lack is perpetuated, but from a lack of gratitude. Honestly, a lack of gratitude. You're looking at your life and you're seeing what you don't have instead of seeing what you do have. The cup is always goddamn half empty. And a lot of people don't even realize that you're looking at life from a half empty cup because you're so accustomed to looking at life from a half empty cup. So most 10 out of 10 people that I've worked with that have a lack mindset in some area of their life, in a lot of areas of their life, they're looking at life from a motherfucking half empty ass cup. They're thinking about what they regret. They're thinking about the past. And so as we come back to energetic reconciliation, you've got all of these unreconciled things. And so we can say on a collective level that, yes, this is the truth. But when it comes to what's going to work for you, what does the healing process look like? What does finding balance look like? What does finding a place that feels good for me look like? I can't tell you. I can't tell you. But I can tell you what it's not. I can tell you what it ain't. Right? But you're going to have to figure out what it is. So, take the not. Check off the list. Okay, not that, not that, not that. And this is the spiritual journey in essence. What we are doing, if we take this deeper into just spiritual wisdom, we are here trying to figure out what the hell is God and what are we? And you live your life through all of these experiences that prior to you incarnating, you have chosen the experiences. You've chosen the trauma. You've chosen the soul's work. You came in here knowing what your soul needed to do, but you forgot. So you live in all these life experiences and you are continuously making a checklist of not this, not that, not this, not that. There are very few things. When you're in lack mentality, which most people are, when you're in lack mentality, this checklist of what am I and what is God, you're only checking off the knots. But what if, and we now over to frequency shifting again, what if you looked at the other side of that checklist and started to check the things that are God, right? I posted in my community today, which is free, by the way, link in bio. I posted in my community today about, I asked everybody to post a win. Post something, post a win. One of my wins for today was that I had a delicious plant-based grilled cheese sandwich with some homemade tomato soup. If that wasn't God, it made me dance. It made me dance when I bit into the damn sandwich. It was so good. It made me do a two-step when I thought about the damn sandwich. If that ain't God, if that ain't the spirit filling you when you eat something that is delicious, then what is? And this is the issue. So this is the issue with the perpetuation of lack. People were asking for practical ways. These are the practical ways. Of course, there is usually energy that needs to be cleared, right? This is why we go to ceremony. This is why we sit with medicines. This is why we move our bodies and we do breath work and we do somatic releases and we do all of the practices. These are the purposes of the practices. This is why we go to sound baths. This is why we do the things. So because we need to release the energy. But on the other side of that, when truly striving to shift the frequency and look at the glass as half full instead of half empty, what are all these beautiful and amazing, God is, I read something, Caroline Miss, she said, God comes in through the back door. God comes in when you least expect. I did not expect God to be in that damn grilled cheese sandwich. and then the honeydew juice that I chased it with, and then me just sitting in the sun on my porch, letting the sun cook me, and being like, wow, I didn't expect God to be there. People are looking for God to be in the money, for God to be in the prosperity. You looking for God to be in the new car, in the new house, in the husband, in the wife, in the relationship, in the babies, and yes, God can be in all of those things. But and God absolutely is in all of those things. But when you don't take the time to look at, to really dig into all the small things, it will never be enough. It will never be enough. And so this is where, in the beginning, I said, how can you say that you deserve $1 million when you're not even a good steward over 10? How can you say that you deserve this beautiful romantic relationship where you're playing out the romance in your mind and you're doing all the things and it's like, oh my God, I want this so bad, and my love, and my lover, and my lover, when you aren't a good steward over yourself? Scarcity and lack. Scarcity and lack. Because how can you appreciate the love of another if you can't even just bring it on home? I'm just saying. Resting is a win. Resting is a win. Okay. Yes, the win for today. Spent downtime with a friend, ate good Thai food, laughed and enjoyed each other. I saw God in our friendship and in encouraging words to each other. Absolutely. This is like this is the substance. This is the stuff that life is made of. How exactly, for real, how can you deeply appreciate financial prosperity when you cannot appreciate the sandwich in your hand and you're looking at this food, this nourishment, this life-sustaining stuff that you've been giving as this ain't enough? That is that's wild. That's wild to me. The cheese that I use, I made a cashew cheese. So all you do is get some cashews, nutritional yeast, salt, pepper, a little garlic powder. I use some water and put it in the food processor. Voila, cheese. Soak the cashews for maybe about an hour or two. Some people soak them overnight. I didn't eat them. Cashews get pretty soft. Make you some cashew cheese. When I hear this, I think, what the hell have I done? Because why would I do this to myself? You didn't know. Maybe an aspect of you knew. And that's where we go into compassion. This is where we go into compassion for self. All right. Let's... All right. I see there's a question, but it won't let me do the question. What questions do y'all have? I suppose someone said, what would you call a balanced versus a lack mentality? I mean, we can just say on the other end of the spectrum is gratitude. Yeah, on the other end of the spectrum, it's just gratitude. And continuing to bring yourself back to that. It's, nobody's perfect, right? Ooh. Nobody's perfect. And so many people, especially right now, are working to shift themselves out of survival. Survival is almost like the epitome of lack. So when you're in survival, when you truly are in survival, it's an energy, and we're not talking about we can talk about physical survival. So many people are in physical and energetic survival right now, just in the collective where we are right now. And as I spoke about with comparison, when you're in survival, one of the comparison is probably, I'll say, one of the biggest things that perpetuates a lack mindset, because people live all kind of ways around the world. If you travel like outside of the US and shit, so many places, Costa Rica, Thailand, damn, many places. Hell, even in Dubai has like beautiful areas, and then Dubai has areas where it looked like you just stepped into a 1970s Indian film, and everything is stacked up on top of each other. People live in a whole lot of different ways. One of the issues with like Americanized living, I'll say, is comparison. So when I speak to people around lack, like, I mean, in nine out of 10 of my clients are American. When I speak to them about lack, I mean, the issue is like, I just be like, what the fuck is your problem? And the problem is you're looking outside of yourself. So that comes back to get into your life. My mindset, my finances, none of that shifted until I came back and got into my life. I'll say, like, someone asked that question about balancing a lack mentality. You shift it. It needs to shift. If we're talking about a spectrum, this is lack, this is gratitude, and it needs to go whoop all the way here. We don't need to come in no middle. We don't need a middle. Whoop. It needs to come all the way there. But it's in truly, like, in this moment, look at your life. Look at your life. Not somebody else's. This is an inside job. Somebody said inside work. It's an inside job. I've had a bad issue with comparison since a child, and I don't know why. Maybe something somebody said. I don't know how to tell you how to continue your healing process because I don't know where you are. What I will say, and someone said my sister recently helped me realize that I haven't healed as much as I thought from an incident with my mother. How do I go about continuing the healing process? I'm not sure exactly where you are, but what I would say is perhaps look into modalities that feel good for you. Perhaps start to journal about it. Someone said maybe start with shadow work. If you haven't done that, and look into what exactly does that mean for me. It's very, it's difficult to answer that type of question because different modalities for different people. So ask your guidance system, where do I go from here? Ask your guidance system to give you very clear confirmation on what steps to go to. I be asking, show me, like, I be asking, if I scroll, show me what I need to see. I'm not a scroller. So sometimes, like, when I need clear guidance and I'm like, okay, I need y'all to point me in the direction I need to go, I'm like, I'm about to go scroll. Bring up what I need to see. And I don't stop until I feel that confirmation. It's like, this is stop right here. I listen, I'm like, okay, I got you. So you can try that. Or you can try also just connecting with the inner child. If it's about your mother, connecting with the inner child might just be sitting down, journaling, giving your inner child permission to speak. You can do some free writing. So many ways. So many different things to try. Someone said, is shadow integration a form of balancing masculine and feminine energy? It can be. It can be if that is where your work is. Shadow integration is along the lines of, if I have to put it simply, learning to have deep compassion and connection with the aspects of yourself that you continue to push away. So it can be balancing masculine and feminine energy, but it can also be so many other things. This is speaking along the lines of, in the beginning, I talked about how life, spirit, source, will continue to show you that there is no left and right. I mean, there's a left and a right, but it ain't left or right. There is no right or wrong. There is no, it's and also, and also, and also. So when it comes to your shadow aspects and integrating these pieces, which the integration aspect is basically saying, embody this shit. It's basically saying, this is what you know, now how about you do? This is what you say, now how about you do? This is what you say you are, now how about you be it? The integration, and so perhaps this is a balancing. It is a, whatever. But the integration aspect of things are more so along the lines of coming to a place of wholeness. And this speaks to how we talked about this energetic reconciliation. It's acceptance. It's reconciliation. It's, this is who I've been, and I accept this part of me. And I can live with this part of me. And this part of me doesn't necessarily need to go away, but I can do enough connecting with this part of me to where I can reconcile it and I can lay it to rest. So that's why I said today I'm going to talk about letting go. There are some things that need to be let go of. A lot of people need to let a lot of shit go. But, as we talk about speaking to shadow integration, it's inner reconciliation. It's an inside job. What am I still holding on to about myself? What thoughts? What regrets? What regrets? Where is my energy in the past? Where am I not empathizing and sympathizing with my damn self? Where am I still pushing myself in the shadow? Where am I not loving on myself? I need to sit and have a good talk with those aspects of self. I need to really have a heart-to-heart with myself and look at what energies are still present in this and I'm still saying, to. What is it within me that truly I have not given enough space to even be seen and heard? And the shadow keeps shadowing. The shadow keeps showing up in your experience. Like I said, there's so many different aspects to it. But the shadow aspects keep showing up because there's a part of you that has not been seen, heard, felt. It has not been reconciled. You can imagine that this is like you're in a relationship with somebody, because truly you're in a relationship with yourself. But you can, if you had to take this outside of you, you can imagine that this is a romantic relationship. And there is this one issue that just keep coming up. It's the same issue that keeps coming up. But no matter how much you keep trying to talk to your partner about this issue, you're defensive and your partner is defensive. One person's trying to talk, but you're not hearing each other because both are defensive. So you keep butting heads. And there's no empathy. There's no seeing it from their side of it. So it never gets reconciled. And so now it starts to snowball. So instead of you all being able to sit, talk, listen to each other, hear each other out, understand each other's side of it, and communicate effectively, it starts to snowball. And now them not washing the dishes, you feeling resentful. It ain't you, like beforehand you wouldn't even gave a damn about them not washing the dishes because this other thing has not been dealt with, because you all have not come to a consensus and a place of peace and had created space to actually communicate about this one thing. Now the dirty dishes is pissing you off. And now everything becomes about the one thing. So this is what happens in your experience when there are aspects of you that you have not given space to be seen and heard, that you have not had conversation with. This is what happens in your experience when you're butting heads with your shadow and you're not listening. You're getting defensive because this dense energy keeps showing up in your experience and you saying, get the fuck back. Because these things keep coming up in your experience. It's stuff that doesn't feel good. And instead of sitting and having just a cool, clean conversation with it, you push it away. And now everything becomes about the one thing. Anytime, like as I'm working with my coaching clients, from session 1 to session 6, everything is about one thing. Most things are about one thing. It's about something that has not been reconciled, some shadow aspect of themselves that has now bled into every single aspect of their life because a healing conversation with themselves, time with themselves, an inside job has not been completed. Somebody asked a question, can I break down reconciliation? There you go. There you go. So hopefully the relationship anatomy. Y'all, I'm looking at, like, on this wall, I've got like acupuncture and Chinese medicine posters. So I'm looking at them and it's bodies. And so instead of saying analogy, I'm looking and it's like anatomy. But yes, hopefully the analogy helped with understanding what happens when the shadow is not reconciled, aka integrated. So, for those of you that are journalers, that's something to dig into, to go a little deeper into that. Because whatever aspect of you has not been reconciled, you have not had a healing conversation, you haven't given it space, you haven't heard it. And this goes very deep for some people because sometimes it's your 5-year-old self, sometimes it's a 10-year-old self, sometimes, it's just different. You can look at it as a different age group. You can look at it as something that happened in your experience that you didn't give yourself space to feel. That in so many people's experiences, they didn't grow up in environments where emotions were safe, where the expression of emotion was normal. They didn't grow up in environments that were safe, period. And so in order to survive, they had to take all of those feelings and bring them inward. So at some point, the shit come busting out the seams. At some point, it comes busting out the seams. Feelings demand to be felt. Demand. Not ask. Demand. So when people are experiencing like these breakdowns, depression, deep anxiety, like all of this stuff, it feels like your life is falling apart and you don't know what the hell is going on. Now your body starts to fall apart. Like, it's real when the body is falling apart. It's real when you're physically ill. There are feelings that are demanding to be felt. And so they're busting out the seams. So instead of being like safely contained in your aura and having space to just flow free and release, they're busting out because there's so much that's unreconciled. So the start for a lot of people is honestly just going to be feeling. What haven't I felt? What within me now is really asking for me to feel it? And if your go-to has been to not feel, then, you might have a little bit of deep work. How do you feel? Okay, I'm going to answer that question about abandonment shadow, but have you ever felt the importance of learning your human design? Absolutely. That's what I said. Like, I know my human design deeply now. So I know it helped me learn so much more about myself. And it also helped me to start to live my design. One of the tools that helped me to shift that frequency from lack into gratitude was learning my human design so I could live my design, so I could stop comparing myself to other people because I'm not other people. And once you learn your design and you start to you make efforts to actually live your design, then you really start to see how a lot of shit that you thought was for you, honey, it ain't for you. And you can get back into your life. You can see it truly don't even resonate. Like, you might think it resonate, but when you really start to look at your design and you look at the way that you embody your own energy, then you're like, oh, you know what? I thought I wanted that, but actually I'm good. And now I can shoot my attention over to something that's actually probably more so purposed for me. You can go to myhumandesign.com. Go to myhumandesign.com and you put in your birthday information. Someone asked, how do you feel the abandonment shadow shows up in other areas of life besides relationships or anger? So the shadow of abandonment, honestly, its deepest manifestation is in you abandoning yourself. That's what it manifests as. And when we think about this on a more deeply spiritual level, thinking about this on a collective level, if someone, and thinking about this as the way that things work in cycles, abandoned people, you know what? I was gonna say that abandon people, but that's not true. Because abandonment is that, there is such a thing as physical abandonment. There is a thing as physical abandonment. And at times, there are times where people who have felt abandoned have perpetuated that cycle. Because that's what they know. I'm like, let's not speak on a definite that's a sometimes thing. If that's what someone knows is to just leave, if leaving is their protection mechanism, if leaving is their survival mechanism, then and if that's what they learn, if that's how they learn to survive, then they will continue to perpetuate the cycle of abandonment, right? But abandonment also happens, the abandonment wound also perpetuates itself based on the way that we processed what happened. Because it doesn't always have to register as abandonment. But as I said earlier, children are very egocentric. So when things happen in childhood, it registers as abandonment because it becomes about you. So rather than like someone going off to do whatever for them and it being about them, rather than the abandonment being about the parent, it becomes about the child to the child, right? So now the abandonment wound is there. Okay, so that's one. But now what happens is, outside of relationships and outside of anger or whatever, what I'll even say, outside of those things, the biggest thing is that people abandon themselves. And this goes right back to the question that someone asked about shadow integration and me speaking about reconciliation. What truly needs to be reconciled is the parts of you that you have abandoned. The parts of you that you don't look at, that you just leave to just do whatever with. And then we go even deeper in pulling that up is the noticing, becoming aware of, going deeper into the emotions that you have abandoned. And again, this is abandoning parts of yourself. So the healing of the abandonment wound is in taking the time to start to recognize, what aspects of myself am I abandoning? What aspects of myself am I just leaving to survive on their own? Shit, and really they're not surviving on their own, they're running your life. In truth. So that's the biggest. Self-abandonment, abandonment of your emotions, abandonment of your dreams, of your aspirations, because you don't feel worthy enough. Because you don't feel worthy and you don't feel that you are enough. Abandonment of your desires. People abandon their bodies by not taking care of them. This thing that just spreads into almost every aspect of life. What parts of yourself are you not saying, come home? Are you not telling to come home? And what will happen often, and now this is where people start to become ill. Oh gosh. I went to the gym yesterday and we did the posterior chain. And my posterior chain, is so sore. Now, what will happen, and like I said, this is where illness, physical illness, mental illness, whatever type of illness starts to manifest in your reality as you continue to abandon yourself, your spirit, parts of your spirit are like, well, shit, I'm leaving too. It's not safe here. Literally. Your spirit will say, it's not safe here. I'm leaving. Where does it go? Who knows? Who knows? But this is where, people start to have to reclaim their spirit. And now, in simpler terms or in lay terms, what does it mean to reclaim your spirit? To reclaim your power. But I wanted to say reclaim your spirit first because it is crucial. It is crucial that you understand that your spirit is your power. So wherever your power is, that's where your spirit is. Wherever your spirit is, that's where your power is. Your spirit is your energy. So when you are not taking care of home, or I'll say when you haven't been able to, right? Because like I said, some people's survival mechanism has been to close and shut off. Most people are doing the best that they can. Everybody's doing the best that they absolutely can. But there comes a time, and the thing is, even if you're doing the best that you can, you still have energy that needs to be nurtured. You still have energy that needs to be cared for. And so that's where you come to the space, you come to the area of life where it's time to heal. And true healing is calling your energy back to your vessel. True healing is asking, where the fuck is my spirit? Where is my spirit? And it needs to come back in my body. But, not come back in my body because the spirit's not in the body. But it needs to come back home. But in order for my spirit to come back home, I need to be a safe enough space for my spirit to come home. And now, in order for me to be a safe enough space for my spirit to come home, I need to have a relationship with myself. I need to start to take care of myself. I need to start to take care of my emotions. I need to make sure I get some fucking rest. I'm talking to myself right now. Girl, you need some goddamn rest. Like, looking at myself, you need some rest. This is safety. This is self-care. But, in order for your spirit to come back home, you have to make it safe. And so going back to, somebody mentioned shadow integration. That's a part of making it safe. Because your stuff, all of your stuff, all of your things, the good, the bad, the ugly, the ratchet, the what you would call the dirty, the nasty, the filthy, the all of it needs to feel safe with you. It needs to feel safe with you. And this doesn't mean that it stays, right? I think that that's a lot of, that's something that, I need to stretch. That's something that a lot of people fear. Is allowing the thing to even just come up and be there. And so now they think it's going to stay when it has to pass through. Energy demands to be reconciled. Emotions demand to be felt. Your body is the vessel for all of this stuff to happen. But when you push away, it gets stuck, and now it manifests into all these other things, and now it don't feel safe, and now your spirit leaves, and now you're sick. How do you know you're truly feeling safe with all of that? You do the work and find out. You start to do the work and find out. As I said earlier in the live, some things you got to experience. Some things you just have to experience. So I can't tell you how to feel safe I can't tell you how to feel safe with you. You can ask yourself, why don't I feel safe with me? And see what answer you get. And then whatever that is, now you start to work on that and reconcile that. But just start one by one. Why don't I feel safe? Just let it all. I love free writing. Because then I'm not thinking. I'm like, I ask a question and I just let my hand just, because it's going to tell the truth. And it's being very non-judgmental. So that answer, you know what, that's one answer I can give. Part of that safety is learning not to judge yourself. Seeing where you are judging yourself. And even giving yourself compassion for judging yourself. It's compassion. It's compassion. Deeper into judging yourself less and having more compassion. That is what safety might be for some people. But it's also it could be good to ask, like, to look at your childhood and think about, process, give some energy to, what did I need to feel safe as a child? What did I need? Because everyone's needs were different. I needed a safe space to run my damn mouth in my house. I needed someone to just listen to me talk about the stars and talk about all the things that were happening in my mind. So this is why this is so healing for me, because my inner child is really just getting to just babble and just blah 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 blah. Like, just, I get to just say whatever, and it doesn't have to be linear, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to make sense, and that is safety for me. So what I had to do was start to allow myself to be with me like that. And I had to stop trying to make it make sense. I had to start just letting myself just be. However I was. Just let it be. And if it was something that needed to be healed, over time I recognized, okay, that's something that needed to be healed. Or you need to balance your yapping. Someone's, I love yapping. I had to learn to balance my damn yapping. That's why I ain't been on here. That's why I have not gone live. Because I had to balance the yapping. So it's like, yeah, my inner child needed to be able to freely express and communicate, but also balance. Because sometimes it's just real good to just shut the hell up and be quiet. That feels good too. Okay, what other question y'all got? I'm not going. Speak now, forever hold the question. Someone said, do you have a posting schedule for your podcast? I don't. We only film one season, and no other seasons have been filmed. So y'all love up on those 10 episodes, and maybe we'll film another season. We shall see. I appreciate the support. Absolutely. And as I said earlier, for those of you, someone said I like yapping. For those of you that like to yap, or even for those of you that just like to observe and to read, my community is free. We just be yapping in there. People be asking questions. The questions be getting answered. Or we just share. Excuse me. I share what tea I be drinking. Share different things. It's a space to share and all that good stuff. A hug and an ear. Freedom to speak as a child is a big one. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you. Thank you. The skin is glowing. Y'all know, y'all don't know, but I don't drink water anymore. Water does nothing for me. And when I be trying to drink water, something in me be like, girl, the ghetto. Just trying to drink bottled water or just drink regular H2O. I say regular, spring water, but still, it'd be like, girl, the ghetto. Watermelon juice, cantaloupe juice, honeydew juice. The melon juices give you so much more than regular water does. And my skin has never been happier. And what I really wish is that I lived on an island and I had coconut water available, because I would never touch ghetto ass H2O ever again. Now, not doing too much on water, because water is life sustaining. So not too much on water, but whatever they putting in these bottles, it don't do enough. Watermelon juice, cantaloupe juice, honeydew juice. Yes, juicing. The juices be juicing, but it's the melon juice that does it for the skin. Also, I'm plant-based and I don't eat processed food, and I don't eat sugar. No processed sugar. So, that also helps. You can't outwork a bad diet. Honestly. You can't outskin a bad diet. So, yes. But, okay, y'all. A water bear here. I know, that's what I'm saying. Not too much on water because we love the water element. We love water. I don't know anything about nightshades. Y'all grew cantaloupe on the farm. I said, man, I'm about to grow my own melons. I've got a yard, like gardening and growing my own stuff is really calling. It's just been trying to get my life together and allocate the time. But the time is coming because I am so ready to be barefoot in my garden, picking up the melons and juicing and just basking because I don't even want to buy them from the store. I'm like, I don't know what the hell y'all doing to these melons. I want my own melons. Whatever type of melon juice. Cantaloupe, watermelon, honeydew. And if you find other type of melons, cucumber juice is good for the skin too. Aloe vera is good for the skin too. Drink your melons. All right. My last shameless plug. This Sunday, I'm doing another live healing circle. This one is geared around movement and breath with the intention to access deep emotions, release said emotions, transmute, and all of that good stuff. So many of y'all have asked so many questions about reconciliation, letting go, and things of that nature, and this went into lack and feeling. So much of my own scarcity and lack, I have had to breathe. I have had to do the breath work. I have had to do the movement. It has been such a pivotal part in me shifting that energy out of my body, because although we're changing the mind, the frequency shift for me has truly been in working with my body. So link in the bio. It's only a $33 energetic investment. I'm leading y'all through movement, breath, transmuting energy, especially for those of y'all that have a lot of stuff caught up in your heart space. Resentment, betrayal, sadness, all of that. It's not a live. It's a Zoom. It's at 12 p.m. Eastern. Link in my bio. $33 investment. Yes, grief. Especially those of you who have all of this energy caught in the heart space. People talk so much about releasing things. 12 p.m. Eastern. People talk so much about releasing energy out of the hips. But we don't work enough, not enough with the heart. So we are going to do some things with the lower body, but what I'm hearing is a lot of people are going to need the work with their heart on Sunday. So link in bio. And this will actually be the last healing circle where anyone can join that's not in my paid community, because Spirit told me bring it in. So, all right. See y'all there. Free community, link in my bio as well. Chop it up with us. Good for a little kiki, a little yap yap. And if y'all have questions, pop in. All right. Love y'all. Yes. See y'all Sunday. Bye-bye.